29. I've completely forgotten. Pretty sure we're at 29. Thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome back to all of our subscribers, and a giant welcome to any of you that are a new subscriber or tuning in for the very first time today. My name is Sharon Graff, and I am the owner of The Modern Skein, which is a yarn store here in Montgomery, Texas. And I don't even know. I'm tired this morning, so normally I'm a little bit more put together, although I think I say this just about every other episode. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Basically, this podcast is what is it? It's me talking in front of a camera. But besides that, it's a chance for me to share with you what's going on in the store, what new things we might have gotten in, what projects we're all working on, either as a group collectively or just myself personally. New Year's resolution not to say anymore. Okay. I want to say it so bad right now. Okay. And go. It's just going to be one of those kind of days, I guess. Okay, so long story short, this is a place where I share with you my works in progress, my finished objects, what I want to cast on next, patterns that are in the store as either samples or what we're all knitting on, new patterns I've discovered on Ravelry that I think I want to make, the new things that are coming into the store, and any events that are happening in the store or knit-alongs, things like that. Because all of our knit-along, I'll say group events where we're all collectively knitting on a project or something like that, they're open whether you are a physical patron of the store or if you're just an online customer, you are welcome to join in. If you're just a lover of the feed and you want to join in, you're more than welcome to as well. Okay, no more. Let's get on to the good stuff, shall we? Because I'm just blathering on. Okay, so first off, what I'm wearing, this is not a new finished object. This is actually a older finished object, but it is the Elemental Cowl by Lavanya Petrosella. And this is a very fun colorwork cowl that's double. You knit in the round, so it's infinity and, I mean, it's just never ending. And it's glorious. You have this stripy section where you have 3 different colors. And I'm just tangling all up in my hair. And then you have this kind of triangular motif as well. So it's really nice and cozy on these freezing cold days like we're having today because of the double thickness and to just be cozy around my neck. It's also a really good practice piece if you are unfamiliar with colorwork or you're wanting to do a colorwork sweater or yoke but you're not ready to dive in just yet. You want a little bit of practice before you begin. This is DK weight, so it goes fairly fast, and at most you're only ever carrying your yarn across 8 stitches across, so you don't have extremely long floats. And of course this is just 2x2, I think, or 3x3 or something fairly short. So it's a great practice piece for color work. You have your one base color and then you have 3 contrasting colors for the motifs, and then she also teaches you how to Kitchener stitch the item closed. And the great thing about it being closed up is all of your floats and end bits and everything are trapped on the inside of the piece, and so you don't have to worry about seeing your floats if they're not that great or anything like that. So it's a great piece. I highly recommend it. It's called the Elemental Cowl by Lavanya Petrosella, and she's pictured kind of doing this with it, so you can see both the design elements. So yes, hope my microphone's working. It should be. Okay, so that's what I'm wearing right now. Yes, my hair is wet. I worked out at 6:15 in the morning. My goal every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, randomly, because you might want to know, is to work out at 6:15 in the morning at my group class. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5:30 at night after I get off work from the shop. So far, I've made it 4 out of the 5 times the past 2 weeks, which is progress. So that's great. But yes, that's why the past several episodes you have seen wet hair, because I film on Monday. I go do the I don't do the podcast. I go work out. I come home, I eat, I clean up, and then I rush over here, podcast, and then go to my knit group. Not that you needed to know my schedule, but there it is. Okay, moving on. Because I'm either in a chatty Cathy mood. I'm not sure what. Because I really haven't had much coffee today. Maybe I need more. Maybe I don't. I don't know. Okay. So, works in progress. I am still slogging along. And I say slogging along. It is by no means a fault of the pattern. I have actually just not had a lot of knitting time this week. It's not that I've lost my knitting mojo or anything like that. I've just been really busy with the shop. We've been busy in the shop. We've had a lot of new things come in. I've had to do inventory and stuff like that, spring cleaning, things like that. And then at home, when I'm home, I'm like cleaning everything. Not like, I clean my house, but like spring cleaning, deep cleaning, going through and trashing stuff. I haven't even watched the Netflix tidying up documentary thing that everyone's been talking about, but I feel like I'm already doing that. I tried to convince Josh to watch it last night. He was like, if I watch that right now, I'm just going to go through the whole house and do it at 10 o'clock at night. It's like, yeah, we don't need to do that. So I might watch it this afternoon. But yeah, we've been cleaning up, and then we had some family events, and blah, 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 blah. So anyway, enough about me moaning not having enough knitting time. I did get a little bit of progress on my Nordiska sweater, and I'll show this to you. I did have a moment earlier this week where I thought I had messed up the pattern, and I thought I was going to have to rip out a significant chunk, but luckily I had not messed it up after rereading the pattern. But this is what I have so far. So I believe I'm about 5 rows away from splitting the sleeves off, I think. So I'm not counting my rows. I'm just counting the stitches. You're supposed to go till you have a certain amount of stitches on the sleeve, and that's what I'm counting. And I will say, for some reason, even though I look back and I really don't see any errors in my increases, every now and then I'll be off on a stitch. I'll be off one on one side, and then I'll be off one on the other side. So I've been fixing as I go. But I don't know. It's a it's a well-written pattern, so I'm not sure what. I will say though that this has been, I don't think I've knit more than an hour straight on it. This has been my pick up, knit, drop, pick up, knit, set it down, pick up, knit, set it down, pick up, knit, set it down. So I feel that's one reason why I haven't had a ton of progress being made on it. And I almost feel like my gauge has gotten tighter as I've been knitting. But in fact it has. That's interesting. That usually doesn't happen to me. If anything, my gauge usually gets looser as I knit. Very interesting that I'm just now noticing that. Okay, here's what I'm seeing that makes me say that. Okay, you can see the holiness, if you will, in the stitches versus down here. Look how much tighter that is. Is that not insane? I don't know. I mean, I didn't change my needles or anything. This is very interesting. Really don't want to rip this out. I also know I got off on my cable count. Not as many rows between the cable stitch. But you can't really tell. I don't know. I'm not going to rip it out. Whoops. I am just going to see if I can tweak my gauge a bit, loosen up when I knit, and go from there. You know what? It's not the end of the world when your knitting isn't exactly like you wanted it to be. I think you have to give yourself a little bit of grace. We're not perfect. You know, maybe I was more stressed out when knitting this lower section than I was when I cast on. Maybe. Maybe I was tired when I cast on. Who knows? In the end, I don't think it's really going to affect the wearability of the garment because it still has plenty of stretch and give. I think it will block really nicely. So anyway, the yarn that I am using for this project is Dye Gilpin, and it's her sport weight. I think it's Lalam. Forgot. I don't have the ball band. But this is the yarn I picked up in Scotland. You can go back a couple episodes and see the review of the yarn. It's very nice. It is a sport weight, and technically the pattern's written for fingering. However, I know there is many people out there. There are many people out there knitting the Nordiska at varying weights, even just worsted weight or DK weight. I myself am doing sport weight, and just knitting a smaller size and getting a larger garment or a looser gauge, etc. So my gauge, even with the sport weight, is actually, well, when I first started out, is pretty close to maybe just like a stitch or more larger than the recommended gauge in the pattern. Oh, goodness, excuse me, it's wet hair. But now that it's tightened up a little bit, it's probably right on gauge. So I am knitting the smaller size because it is written in with, I believe, 10 inches of positive ease. It's 8 or 10 inches of positive ease. It's a hefty amount, and I do want the positive ease on it, but I didn't want to be swallowed up by the item. So I think as long as this blocks out to the measurements, which it should, of the small or the first size that is in the pattern, then for me I should end up with around 5 inches of positive ease, I believe. I wrote it all down, but I don't have my pattern with me. So that's that. And the other thing, literally, I've only gotten work. I just can't talk very well today. I have only worked on the Nordiska and my Penguano. So my Penguano has actually had a lot of progress. The back and front piece is completely done as of last night. So I'm going to hold this up kind of as it should be. Ta-da! That's the front. Oh. Sorry. I can't have things in my mouth. I gag. Oh, that was terrible. Oh. My My viewership just went down the toilet. Okay. So this is the front. And this is the back. The next thing to do is I'll be doing these shoulder pieces and then doing the sleeves, which will come out from here. And then we do a bottom band. And then I think the collar, and I think that's it. So I am going to shoot to have this finished for Vogue because I am actually going to be able to meet Stephen West. I'm taking a lecture from him. So I think it's kind of an unspoken rule that if you are taking a lecture or a class from Stephen West or have the opportunity to be meeting him, you should wear one of his pieces. Unwritten rule, I'm sure, I know. Probably not even a rule, but that's what I'm going to do. Let's see. So yeah, that's the only thing that I've got going on. Penguano is a pattern by Stephen West. Penguano, you can look that up. And I am knitting it out of a lot of old stash, old and new stash. It's mostly skeins of yarns that I have either been gifted by fiber friends or my fiber share partners, or I have picked up single skeins on trips that have significant meaning to me. So it's kind of in my own way a memories piece, which is really special. And it's also in all of my favorite colors, which are blues, navy blues, steel blues, and gray, with a little pop of caramel. So, yeah, if you can't tell, blue, gray, black, my coat, which is on my lap, caramel. Unpredictable, but that's okay. Okay, now the other thing that we have going on in the shop is we got in a ton of new stuff. Lots of new yarn and a couple new accessories that even if you were in last week, you have not seen these yet because we haven't opened the box yet until now. So first off, let me go over this part real quick because this is the newest things as far as yarn. We got a restock of 3 colors of Malabrigo Rios for sweaters, so this is worsted weight yarn. Pretty economical for hand-dyed yarn as well because you get 210 yards and it is only $16, so not bad for hand-dyed yarn. And this is the Pearl colorway, which is really popular. It's a great base, kind of a taupey base for sweaters. We got in also Sandbank, which is a browner version of Pearl. So there's they're very similar. Very similar. This is Pearl. This is Sandbank. Sandbank definitely has a more tan or brown undertone, whereas the Pearl has a cooler gray / even a hint of purple undertone. But we have both of those in, and then we got in a fun one. We got Candombe in, which is beautiful deep greens, blues, and purples. So those 3 are in stock, all in sweater quantities. If you wanted to jump into our sweater knit along, you still have the opportunity to join. The only requirement to be entered into the drawing at the end of March is that you finish your sweater by the March 31st and you have used at least 1 skein of yarn that was purchased at the Modern Skein at any time that we have been open. Okay, so then the other thing we got in with the Malabrigo order is a restock of Rasta. So this is the nice super bulky yarn, fun, quick projects. I'm actually going to do a cowl. I'll show you the color I'm going to do a cowl. And I don't know the pattern yet. If you search on Ravelry, there's tons of really neat bulky weight cowls. Excuse me. And there's several I'm having my eye on, but I also I'm thinking I may just cast on and kind of make up my own thing. I don't know yet. But this is, and I need to call up Malabrigo and be like, okay, how do I pronounce some of these? Because I took Spanish and I'm still confused. Quiggy? It's really pretty purple, golden, raisiny with greens. Really rich. What else? We got in this one, which is Araqueta, which is your green, mostly green and yellowy tones. We got in Violeta Africana, African violets, which is the rich tonal purple. This one is Stitch Red, gorgeous red with a black overlay. Then this one is Reflecting Pool, beautiful deep teal. This is Melon, fun light spring color. So great if you were gonna do like a really airy, lacy or drop stitched cowl. This would be really neat because you could then carry it into spring fairly easily. This is Almond Blossom. There is a difference between Almond Blossom and Melon. You can see Almond Blossom is definitely pink peach and Melon is peach, orange peach. So this is definitely pinky peach, orange peach. Then we have, which one's this one? Serrano, which is deep blue and violet. It's a lot darker than Koige. Then we have Cape Cod Gray, perfect neutral gray. And then my personal favorite, this one's called Cosmos. So you can compare, it's bluer than Cape Cod Gray. It's like an icy blue, in my opinion, or a light version of steel blue. And I think this is what I'm going to do a cowl out of. So, watch the upcoming episodes for what I make from that. And then we also got in a hedgehog order. Yay. So, we are restocked on a couple, on 4 colors of Kid Silk Lace. So we have Monet, which we love. It's the bright blues and purple magentas and greens. Very much like watercolors. Monet, after all. This is Spell. So if you're looking for electric purple, this is the Kid Silk mohair for you. If you're wanting a neutral with pops of color mohair, Juniper is a gray base with speckles of all the colors. And then this is Ferrum. This is a dark hunter, not even hunter, dark olive green with brown. Very nice, very soft and neutral. And then we got in some of the sock base. So this is not single ply, this is your sock base with a 90-10 merino and nylon blend. So we got in Dijon. So this is a plied yarn. Dijon has that mustard base with, it's a really creamy mustard base too, with speckles of the pinks and the greens and purples and a little blue. Then Cereal. This is much more of a tan base, not an orange base, with speckles of green, burgundy, and yellow. And a little bit of pink, but very little. This is Juniper. So your gray base with all of your speckles of greens and pinks and blues and neon colors, highlighter colors. It's really pretty. Purple. Then we have, we have Poison on the plied yarn. So this is your rich red, your burgundies, and your a little bit of black coming through. This is Graphite, restock of Graphite, your super deep dark charcoal. This is Hawk on the plied yarn. So you can see it's a little bit different than the single ply that we had in. I think we're out. Where's my hedgehog? Yeah, we're out. But this is Hawk on the plied yarn. A little bit lighter than the plied version, but still just equally as gorgeous. We have Ferrum on the sock. You can see how rich of an olive and brown tone that is. And then Anime. This is a fun color. So it's a super light gray with these neon speckles. Super neon speckles. And it just came out. And the speckles are mostly Kelly green, lime green, orange, pink. And there's like a little super dark navy and super dark green, I think, or black. It's really pretty. Yeah, so that is all of the sock fingering weight. Then we have some Merino DK. And so we have Monet in Merino DK. Gorgeous sky blue with cerulean blues and oranges and pinks and purples. And a little, really isn't any green on this, but there is green. Isn't there? Yeah. Oh, you know what I bet it is? So, I don't know, this green. The orange kind of bleeds into the blue on the mohair, and so it gives it a greenish tinge, but they still pair perfectly. Truffle, which is a rich, it's not quite a burgundy, it's more like a rose, a black rose kind of color with browns and caramels. It's called truffle. I mean, it's like dark cherry chocolate. That's a good one. Dark cherry chocolate. Then we have Ferrum on the DK. And we have sweater quantities in all of these, unless we've already sold out of some of them. Poison. That would make a stunning cardigan. Oh, that would be gorgeous. Cereal. No, this is Dijon. Excuse me. Dijon. This is Rusty Nail. Add a nice pop of color. This is Juniper. This makes for a fun sweater. Fun speckly sweater. And then Pine. My favorite. So this is a cream base with teal and ochre yellow and hunter green speckles. I just love that color. Okay, that is all of the new yarn that came into the shop. And then we have a couple things. So we got restocked on our wrist rulers. The medium tone brown, which this is how it starts out, and after about a year's worth of wear, it ages beautifully into what I have here. I wear this every day. I don't wear it in the shower, and I don't wear it if I know I'm going to stick my hands in something wet, but it does occasionally get damp or water spots on it, things like that. So mine has aged probably more quickly than if you just wear it a few days a week. So we have restocked on the medium on many sizes. So we have the 16 inch, we've been sold out. We have 17 inch, and I believe we also have 18 inch. I think we have 15 inch as well. So we have lots of sizes. So no matter what your wrist size, we're going to have you covered. We also got restocked in the size 16 of the gray. I know we had some of the smaller and larger sizes of gray. Now we have the medium size as well. And then this is a new product that they just came out with. So if you like the idea of a wrist ruler, but you're like, that's a little wide, and maybe you have a thin wrist or you just don't like a wide look, this is what they call the thin line. So super thin, minimal. I'll put it. And let's just wrap it around. And the cool thing is, it's a magnetic brace. It's a magnetic clasp. There we go. So there you can see. And the clasp is really easy because it's, how do I say that? It's easy to do when you're not trying to camera. There you go. So it's just a magnet. So makes it easy to come on and off. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Does it wrap? With it being thinner, no, it doesn't wrap more. Anyway, I'm just talking, but yeah, it's really neat. Okay. I gotta get it off. There we go. Okay. The magnet makes it stick inside the tin. Okay, so the other thing we got in is something that a few of you have been... Seriously? That a few of you have been asking me about, and I've said for a while, yeah, we're trying to get it, yada, yada, yada. Well, we got it. So, let me show you. This is not really how you would do it, but let's say you need to check your gauge. You can always whip out your wrist ruler. You can get your little Katrinkles thing, put it over, yada, yada. But maybe it's a dark fabric. Maybe it's a really speckled yarn, and you're really having trouble focusing on the row or your rows or your stitches. That's where this comes in. So all you do is line it up, and then you can count down and you can count across, and it focuses right in on the row and the stitches that you need to do, and you can find and calculate out your gauge very easily. And so it will do, it is marked for 4 inches or 10 centimeters, but you have a mark at every inch and every centimeter. So if your pattern gauge is saying is asking for a 1-inch gauge or a 2-inch gauge, you can easily count up to those inch marks and find it out. So this is going to be an amazing tool for everyone out there, especially when you're in low light situations or you're working with dark yarn, or maybe you just, you know what, I don't want to mess up. I really want to make sure I have the right thing. So it comes packaged in this nice little pouch. And I have to look it up, but I want to say it's going to be either $20 or a little bit less for this. And it's really high quality, durable plastic. Like a really hard plastic. And the numbers and everything are etched and frosted in so that it's easy to read. And they're not printed like in black, so if you had black fabric, you wouldn't be able to see it. It's really good, and I think really quality made. So that is all I have to share with you as far as new things into the shop. As far as events, this coming Saturday we have the the Blue Mule Fiber Arts is coming and doing a trunk show at the shop from 10 to 4, so be sure and come out and support them. We have a beginner knitting class scheduled for February and one for March. They are both on the website. I cannot quite remember the dates. I know the one in February is on a Saturday, and the one in March is during spring break on a Friday. So if you've got kids out of school and you're wanting them to take a knitting class, or you want to take a knitting class with them, we do take kids as young as 8, but you do need to RSVP for the classes because they do fill up and we have limited space. So email us at themodernskein@gmail.com or come in and put your name on the list. The other things we have going on as far as events, it's coming up sooner than I can really imagine it, but our 1-year anniversary is happening in March 8th and 9th. We're going to have trunk shows happening, and I'm not yet announcing the trunk show. Should I? Okay, well, first We have another trunk show happening in February 23rd. Interloop Dye Works is coming to the shop. She's from Houston, and she has amazing yarn, so be sure and come out for that, which that'll be from 10 to 3, I believe. But then March 8th and 9th, we are doing a trunk show during the the 1-year anniversary party that we're having. And my very good friend Diane from the Suburban Stitcher is coming as a special trunk show for the 2-day event. We'll also have a pop-up shop from Red Stag Fiber and limited edition colorways from Red Stag Fiber and a couple other dyers. They're going to dye up a 1-year anniversary colorway specifically for us. So stay tuned. We're going to have lots of giveaways. We're going to have lots of items that you'll get free with your purchase. We're going to have cake, and there's going to be pins. There's going to be all sorts of things. So definitely want to come to the celebration for sure. There's going to be bags. There's going to be all sorts of stuff. So you just don't want to miss it. Let's see what else. I am going to Vogue. That's in 2 weeks now. I can hardly believe it. I am going up to New York and going to hang out with a bunch of knitting people and a bunch of people that I call Instagram friends, and I hope to make friends in real life with. And it's going to be exciting. I'm going to do some videoing while I'm up there to kind of give that a little bit of experience to you guys. And hopefully one day we can all go up there and have a lot of fun. So this is my first time. I'm really excited. And I'll be looking out for new things, new vendors, new dyers, things like that hopefully we can bring into the store later, either in trunk shows or as stockists. So stay tuned. Yeah, there's a lot of things in the work for this year. There really is. So thank you so much for being so supportive of my store. It really means a lot to me. My goal is that every single person that comes through this door into the shop is treated with love and respect, and you enjoy your time here. If you love yarn, who cares? I mean, yarn is yarn. Whether you knit with it, whether you crochet with it, whether you spin or weave. I mean, you don't really spin with yarn. You make yarn, but who knows? Maybe you want to ply a yarn and spin. I don't know. I don't spin. But you can use yarn for whatever you want, whatever your craft is. Please don't think, oh, I'm not going to go in there because she only carries hand-dyed yarns and I can only afford Red Heart or Walmart yarn. I don't care. Come in and just join the sit-in knit anyway. It's so much fun. You can hang out with everyone. We chit-chat about yarn and patterns and all the fun stuff. It's a lot of fun. We just want everyone to feel welcome and invited and happy in the store. So thank you so much for your support. I would really love it if you're not subscribed, if you go ahead and subscribe, if you give me a thumbs up, if you give me a little comment, I'll comment back. It really does help boost my podcast to be seen by other people who may not know about the store yet, and who may not know about our social events like the Sit and Stitch, which happens practically every day of the week, but we have official times all day on Tuesday, afternoons on Friday, and in the mornings on Saturday. But again, you are welcome anytime to the store to bring your project, sit down, knit, have some water or coffee, bring in a beverage of your choice, and just hang out with us. So thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys, and I hope to see you in the shop one day very soon. Bye-bye.